Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program and for the Military Spouse Program. I'd like to welcome you all. Today's session, VA Employer Connection, Connecting Women Veteran with Their Benefits, is part of HOH's ongoing career community programming. On behalf of Pioneer Heroes, I would like to express sincere appreciation for our relationship with the VA and its continued collaboration across the many veteran employment initiatives. A quick reminder that this session is being recorded and can be found at our Career Community Hub on the HOH website. Before I turn it over to our first speaker, I would ask that all viewers please ask your question and answers in the Q&A box. At this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Mr. Terry Brown.
Thank you, Nicole. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Terry Brown, and I'm a senior analyst with the Office of Transition and Economic Development with the Department of Veteran Affairs. Today, we have a robust agenda with exciting information to provide. So without further ado, I would like to turn the floor over to Dr. Richard Hartman, who is the Executive Director of the Office of Transition and Economic Development. Dr. Hartman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Terry. That's a mouthful, as we all know. We probably will be referring to us to OTED, so saying Office of Transition Economic Development can be quite a mouthful. So again, we'll refer to OTED. With that said, I want to thank everybody for jumping on here, and good afternoon. This is a great opportunity, and we're looking forward to sharing some really important information to you throughout the next hour or so. So first of all, I'd like to thank HOA for really leaning forward and sharing this employment opportunity with the VA and being a partner with VA. We can't do this alone, and we always look for strong partners to help us move forward. And again, thank you HOH, for all your help in putting this on. One of the things that we all probably aware of, and I'll just let you know, I'm a veteran just like you all. I used to be in the military. And I can remember on several occasions just the difficulty from transitioning from military service as well as being a veteran and just going through those changes of life, because we're always going through transition. But one of the other parts of it is we also know the economic well-being for a veteran community really requires stakeholders from across the whole veteran ecosystem to come together and to improve the opportunities as well as the long-term economic sustainability. But it's really not enough for us just to get transitioning service members, the veterans, their military spouses a job. We really need to meet the economic needs of a diverse and ever-changing veteran population, and we, the VA, as well as our partners here at HOA, are committed to providing service members, veterans, and their families with opportunities to achieve economic success and total well-being from military service through their civilian life by educating them on the VA benefits and services, providing economic information, and connecting them with the partners and tools within their communities. With that said, we are very excited to have the Special Hiring Authority flexibility to hire qualified transitioning service members, veterans, and their families and military spouses. We believe that VA is the employer of choice, and we encourage all of you to apply for any of the opportunities that are out there and to join our family. So on today's call, you're going to hear some invaluable information on, one, we're going to be talking about connecting women veterans to benefits. We'll give you an overview of the importance of women veterans connecting to the Office of Stakeholder and Strategic Engagement. Second, you're going to be hearing a VA Veterans Readiness Employment Program, which is referred to as VRE. As you're probably aware, we still have that military background in us where we have to probably associate an acronym or an abbreviation for almost everything that we have there. But our folks and our family over there in VRE, they're going to give you a brief program description, and they're going to present on employee opportunities within the San Antonio area. And lastly, the VA's Human Resource Center in Detroit is going to brief you on the national call centers in 8 different locations, the qualifications required for the positions that are going to be available, and to demonstrate how that's a springboard into the veteran service organization for us as the VA. So again, we kudos to the HOH team for putting this all together and joining us to put on this event. We hope and genuinely mean this, that you all that are participating find the information provided to you helpful, rewarding, and I look forward to sharing how you can be part of the VA family. That said, we'll turn it over to Terry again, and we'll move forward. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to be online for any questions, comments, concerns that you have. So we look forward to hearing the rest of your briefings.
Thank you, Dr. Hartman, for that wonderful information. Our first presentation on connecting women veterans to their benefits will be given by Ms. Kelly Kennel and Ms. Renee Coker, both with VA's Office of Outreach and Stakeholder Engagement.
Thank you, Terry. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Cannell, and I am the National Veterans Program Manager for the VBA Outreach and Stakeholder Engagement Team. This presentation will be done in two parts. First, we will give you a national overview of the Women Veterans programs, and then the second part will focus on more local initiatives. Next slide, please. Okay, and that's just a quick overview of our agenda. All right, and next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so VA benefits can range from assistance with eyeglass prescriptions, providing home loans to help affording education expenses. But the Department of Affairs benefits, although we use the term VA benefits interchangeably, the benefits can be broken down under three different sections. We have Veterans Health Administration, and that's where you get your healthcare needs. We have the National Cemetery Administration. They provide the dignified burial services for veterans and eligible family members. And then we have Veterans Benefits Administration, or VBA. Now that is where, that's the area we're talking about today, and that can include your compensation, your insurance, appeals decision review, home loan guarantee, and of course, education. So my department is VBA Outreach and Stakeholder Engagement, and we handle the outreach, communication, engagement at a more national level. We're responsible for increasing the awareness of benefits available to veterans, and me specifically, women veterans. We coordinate with the local and state national partners with outreach activities. So for example, access to care and resources for homeless veterans. And we also do things like town hall events. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so the VBA Outreach and Stakeholder Engagement Team, we provide support on VBA special emphasis groups, as well as special focus initiatives. So some of the special emphasis groups that I spoke of course, homeless veterans, elderly veterans, minority veterans, rural veterans, and of course, women veterans. And some of the special focus initiatives, the impact of COVID-19, suicide prevention. So as the women veteran population continues to increase, VBA is committed to providing women veterans avenues of access to benefits that they receive and have earned and deserve. So just a couple of the national initiatives. We're launching programs to improve women veterans' transition from service. So VBA has partnered with the Department of Defense to provide a healthcare training course as a complement to the TAP training that service members receive. for transitioning service women to make them aware of all the services available. And another national initiative would be our Women's Veterans Call Center. Women veterans can call, you can text, you can chat online with call center staff, and they're trained to answer questions more specific for women veterans, as well as provide information, resources, and even assist with filing for your benefits. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just a few of the links that are available, some resources for women veterans. I invite you to utilize them. Next, we'll have Renee Coker, who will give you some information on some local VBA initiatives.
Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Renee Coker, coach of the San Antonio Public Contact Team and Core Development Team at the Frank Tejeda Outpatient Clinic. As you all know, COVID has affected the way that we interact with one another for obvious safety reasons. Nevertheless, we are still providing customer service, but virtually. Should you need assistance, please call either of the phone numbers on this slide. Your message will be forwarded to us and we will contact you to help resolve your issues. If you have a veteran service organization representative, such as the Wounded Warrior, Disabled Vets, or Texas Veterans Commission, be sure to reach out to them as well. We interact with them on a daily basis. We have a wonderful relationship with them, and we work together to ensure that your claims issues are met. Next slide. Although we are one VA, the Veterans Hospital Administration and the Veterans Benefits Administration offers distinct services, but we collaborate to ensure that you receive comprehensive VA assistance. The VHA offers women-specific programs as shown on the screen. All newly enrolled women veterans are now referred to the Women's Veterans Program Manager to assess for any existing care needs that must be addressed prior to the first primary care provider appointment. All pregnant patients are fast-tracked to the PCP going forward and beyond when the COVID restrictions are lifted. Comprehensive primary care is the basic standard care. In other words, women-specific care is considered essential care. I also recently learned, actually this morning, that the women's only clinic will be available at the Frank Tejeda Outpatient Clinic in the near future. You can find additional information at either of the websites on the bottom of this slide. Next slide, please. So I did a poll prior to planning for this presentation, and I found that the military sexual trauma issue is one that is just prevalent and concerns veterans across the board. It's vitally important that we understand not only the definition of military sexual trauma, or MST, but as well who is affected by it. So military sexual trauma is sexual assault or repeated threatening sexual harassment that occurred during military service. MST is also any other sexual activity where the person was involved against his or her will or unable to say no. MST can happen to absolutely anyone, all genders, all ranks, all racial and ethnic backgrounds, sexual orientations, religious backgrounds, on or off duty, on or off base. It's really, really important that we all understand that. Next slide, please. So when service connection is warranted for MST, any condition that results from the MST will also be granted. Post-traumatic stress disorder often results from MST, and other physical or mental disabilities are often associated with MST. Stressor verification has greatly relaxed. We review sources such as documents from law enforcement, rape crisis centers, hospitals, etc., to identify what we call our markers. A marker is evidence or signs that the circumstances or events as explained and described happened or likely occurred. Manifestations of behavioral changes, as shown in the provided documents, such as service medical or personnel records, show markers could be something similar to requests to transfer duty stations, deterioration of work performance or evaluations, substance abuse, suddenly seeing pregnancy tests or for STDs, unexplained economic or social behavioral changes. A VA examination with an opinion can be scheduled when there's evidence of a marker. Essentially, you know yourself better than anyone else. If you feel that you are experiencing symptoms or conditions that resulted from the MST, we invite you to file a claim for it. We will review your claim and render a decision with detailed explanations. Next slide, please. Specialized screenings are used to identify potential treatment opportunities. The VHA MST coordinator treatment is available even without being service-connected for PTSD due to MST. VHA has designed a two-question screening process that will assist them in creating MST resources and treatments for you. Next slide. At VBA, there are two MST coordinator roles. There's the outreach and the claims coordinator. Both positions undergo specialized training designed to ensure that you receive quality assistance. Outreach coordinators at the public contact office, there's a male and a female, as your level of comfort is our primary concern. Claims coordinator, there are several at the regional office. They are veteran service representatives. One is designed to help you file a claim. The other one is designed to process the claim. Next slide, please. I highly encourage you to submit a claim and take advantage of all available resources. We have taken great strides to ensure that you may comfortably submit your MST claims and receive help throughout the process. Next slide, please. These references are provided for your use and your knowledge. I invite you to look through them, contact us with any questions that you may have for any assistance that you may need. Thank you for your service and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Kelly and Renee, for that wonderful presentation. So now the next presentation is out of VA's Office of Veteran Readiness and Employment, will be given by Ms. Audrey Jovette and Ms. Barbara Brookins, to also include veteran testimonies from Ms. Julia Steep and Natasha Gaddis. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I'm Ms. Audrey Jolivet, retired Air Force veteran, currently serving within VRNE as an IDES counselor. My colleague, Ms. Barbara Brookins, retired Navy veteran, serves as our employment coordinator. We thank you for the opportunity to share information about the Chapter 31 Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, VRNE, formerly known as the Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program. The same quality service is provided. There was just a change in the name to better reflect the services under this program. Next slide, please. With respect to your time and the time of other presenters, we'll provide a brief overview of the following topics. The intent of the VRNE program is to assist veterans and service members with service-connected disabilities succeed. This is done by providing supportive services to service members transitioning from active military services into the civilian sector. At work, through services which help them obtain, maintain, or retain suitable employment. At home or in their communities, VRNE services help maximize independence in daily living. Next slide, please. VRNE's eligibility criteria. Are you eligible to apply for the services of VRNE? To apply for VRNE services, active duty service members must expect to receive an honorable discharge. obtain a VA memorandum rating of 20% or more, and obtain a proposed disability evaluation system, IDES rating. For service members awaiting discharge due to a medical condition resulting from a serious injury or illness which occurred in the line of duty, they may be automatically entitled to VRNE benefits under the National Defense Authorization Act, NDDA of 2008, but they must apply for VRNE benefits. Eligibility criteria for veterans must have received an honorable or other than dishonorable characterization of service discharge, have obtained a VA service-connected disability rating of 10% or more, or a memorandum rating of 20%, and they must apply for VRNE benefits. Next slide, please. Basic benefit information for VRNE. The law does allow for a 12-year eligibility period to utilize the services of Chapter 31. Use of these services expires 12 years from the date of separation and/or retirement, or 12 years from the date of receipt of the initial VA disability rating notification, whichever is the latter. If found entitled and in need of VRNE services, but are outside of the 12-year utilization period, these services can be provided if you're determined to have a serious employment handicap. Next slide, please. VRNE's 5 tracks to employment. Unsure of the best path? No worries. Those who apply for services and are found entitled will connect with a vocational rehabilitation counselor, VRC, who will determine which track best meets the needs of the service member or the veteran. The 5 tracks do include the reemployment track, which is for individuals separating from active duty, National Guard, or reserves and are returning to their previous employment. The rapid access to employment is for individuals expressing an interest in seeking employment soon after separation or have the necessary skills to be competitively employed in an appropriate occupation. Excuse me 1 minute. Employment through long-term services. This is for individuals requiring specialized training and/or education needed to obtain suitable employment. The independent living services is for individuals who may not be currently ready for employment or currently able to pursue a vocational goal at this time. This is one of our most underutilized VRNE tracks. Some of the services provided under this track include, but are not limited to, acquiring assistive technology, independent living skills training, community-based support services, gaining increased access within the home and community, help in acquiring a volunteer position. Finally, the self-employment track is designed for individuals who have the desire and skills to run a business and need a flexible or accommodating work environment because of their disabilities. Next slide, please. Other programs and services provided by VRNE include the Chapter 36 Educational, Career and Vocational Counseling. As of September 14, 2020, Chapter 36 is now known as Personalized Career Planning and Guidance, or PCPG. While the name and branding has changed, eligibility requirements for PCPG are not changing. PCPG will continue to provide career counseling, assessment, education planning, and guidance resources to support veterans in the achievement of personal, career, and education goals. VRNE will continue to be active partners in the delivery of PCPG for transitioning service members, veterans, and their dependents. VRNE's Vet Success on Campus counselors, also referred to as VSOCs, currently reside on over 90 college campuses, providing VRNE services to service members, veterans, and eligible dependents. They provide a multitude of services which help ease the transition into student life. In 2012, VRNE began stationing vocational rehabilitation counselors on military installations under the Integrated Disability Evaluation System, IDES, to provide assessment, evaluation, and outreach services to transitioning, wounded, ill, and injured service members refer to a medical or physical evaluation board to determine fitness for continued active military service. These members may be automatically entitled to VRNE benefit services. Next slide, please. Chapters 18 and 35 are additional benefits provided to eligible dependents. Under Chapter 18, VRNE provides training and other rehabilitative services to eligible dependents born with spina bifida or other congenital disabilities. Chapter 35, the Survivors and Dependents Educational Assistance, DEA program, offers up to 36 months of education and training benefits to eligible dependents of certain veterans. Next slide, please. Is VRNE benefits and the GI Bill the same program? I'm glad you asked. The answer is no. The GI Bill is an educational program. VRNE is an employment program. VRNE's program purpose is to help service members and veterans with service-connected disabilities experiencing barriers to employment become suitably employed. The E in VRNE represents the program's overall mission, which is to assist service members and veterans with obtaining suitable employment. Next slide, please. Speaking of employment, this is a great segue into the next portion of this presentation. Ms. Brookins, the virtual floor is yours. Next slide,
Hello.
please.
Hello, everyone. I am Barbara Brookins, Employment Coordinator for the San Antonio VRNE program. As mentioned, I am retired Navy and a graduate of the VRNE program. I am one of many employment coordinators within the nation that assist our service-connected disabled veterans, which include our women veterans in our program with employment needs. This morning on the call of VA Transition and Economic Development Town Hall, VHA spoke on the increased growth rate of women veterans in the San Antonio area. This also means that the rate for employment services will increase as well. Transitioning from the military profession to civilian sector can be a very time-consuming and stressful situation. The E in VRNE is for employment. The VRNE program provides employment services in 4 of the 5 mentioned program tracks. Once the service member or veteran has completed all their required training or determined eligible to participate in employment services, they are moved into the employment phase of the program to help them obtain, maintain, and retain suitable employment based on their interest, aptitude, and abilities that will not aggravate their service-connected disabilities. VRNE helps service members and veterans navigate the transition from military to civilian employment. They receive one-on-one personalized employment services to include work readiness preparation, resume assistance, job development, workplace accommodations, and post-employment services. If determined eligible, veterans in job-ready statuses may also receive employment adjustment allowances while participating in employment services. Service members and veterans, next slide. I am so sorry. I have just been going on and have not said next slide. Next slide. I need you to go back. I am so sorry. I just messed that completely up. I'm on the training slide. There you go. Thank you. Service members and veterans that lack job skills and experience, VRNE training program provides the following services: the apprenticeship program, the internship program, and on-the-job training. These training programs allow veterans to gain marketable job skills and hands-on practical job experience specific to the business or industry in a way that can be cost-effective and timely to the employer. The non-paid work experience program provides eligible veterans and service members the opportunity to obtain training and practical job experience at no cost to the employer. The programs can be established with federal, state, and local government agencies. The Special Employee Incentive Program, we call it the SEI program, assists veterans facing extraordinary obstacles in obtaining employment by providing practical on-hand experience. Under the Special Employee Incentive Program, up to 50% of the veteran's salary can be reimbursed to include compensation for additional supplies and equipment. These unique training programs can be very beneficial to service members, veterans, and the employer. Next slide, please. Employment services may also include working with our VA partners or working with our local community partners. VR&E collaborate with the Department of Labor utilizing the National Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Specialists, DVOP, and local Veterans Employment Representative Lever Program to assist our VR&E veterans with employment services. They receive quality job search assistance, resume development, mock interviews, local market information, and can receive referrals to other local and state resources. Our local state agency in the state of Texas is Texas Veterans Commission. They are called Veterans Career Advisories, VCA, and Veterans Employment Liaisons, VELs. Texas Veterans Commission also provide the before mentioned job readiness services and also assist veterans with registration to receive the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. The Work Opportunity Tax Credit is a federal tax credit available to employers for hiring individuals from certain target groups within who has a unique barriers to employment. Next slide, please. Employment partners and building an effective networking team is vital in helping our service members and veterans make that transition into the community. It is essential to do outreach and collaborate with community organizations, agencies, and employers to receive, gather, and pass on employment opportunities and valuable resource information that may be available to our service members and veterans. As mentioned, one of our partners, Texas Veterans Commission, they also have a great women's veterans program as well. During normal operations or normal working hours, we are able to conduct monthly job clubs, resume workshops, and employer networking events, allowing our veterans to participate in a question and answering interchange with the employers about their companies and hiring practices. Next slide, please. Labor market information in San Antonio area and surrounding New Braunfels area. This slide shows top 10 popular occupations that are hiring in the San Antonio and the surrounding areas, which is New Braunfels. The U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, along with state workforce agencies, collect and analyze statistical data about the current labor market trends. The data can be extracted from the two mentioned websites to reflect the daily labor market information. When a veteran is found entitled to our program, they are given vocational exploration steps, which may include doing labor market information. VR&E, Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, prides itself on the whole person concept when assisting our service member and veterans. Combining labor market information and the veterans' transferable skills, along with their interests, aptitude, and abilities, VR&E assists them in making a realistic career decision. Next slide, please. This slide just depicts the labor market trends in the San Antonio area by industries. And it only shows, again, the top 10 that was highly sought out in the particular areas. Labor market information can be broken down by area, occupation, employer, industry, salary, or even education. It's a great tool to use. Next slide, please. VRNE is making incremental improvements towards its long-term modernization goal in alignment with the Veterans Benefits Administration, VBA, Undersecretary for Benefits, 3 priorities. VRNE provides veterans with the benefits they have earned in a manner that honors their service, ensure we are strong stewards, physical stewards of the money entrusted into us, and lastly, to foster a culture of collaboration. The ultimate goal is to continue to move into the digital and paperless environment, to be more accessible, ensuring we are able to reach all of our service members and veterans. I'm just going to mention a few of the new systems that have came online just recently. E-authorization, e-invoicing payment processing system, IPPS, allows the user to electronically create authorizations and certify invoices. Electronic Virtual Assistance, EVO, is powered by the Semi-Autonomous Research Assistance, SARA, an artificial intelligence-based mobile-centric application. EVA solution is designed to reduce administrative burdens for the VRNE staff associated with routine tasks such as scheduling, communications, and case tracking. To continue to provide seamless communication with our veterans and partners, we also use telecounseling, teleconferencing, electronic mailing system, DMHS, and of course we do telework. Next slide, please. Maximizing telework. Of course, we are working from home. Telework has been around for a little bit now, but we are teleworking at home now, mostly because of the COVID. We transitioned into that particular mode. Unfortunately, we are still on alert when it comes to COVID-19, the pandemic. Yes, we're still open. VRNE has not lost a beat with communicating with our service members and our veterans. We're still plugged in with our community partners and networking with teams, maximizing telework by attending and participating in virtual events and workshops, just like this one. To provide additional assistance and to minimize some of the hardship, Public Law 116, TAC 140, the Student Veterans Coronavirus Act of 2020 was passed in April. To mention a few of the highlights under this law include continuance of substance allowance for temporary closures of educational facilities, restoration of entitlement, and additional employment adjustment allowances. Next slide, please. Now, how do you reach us? You have to apply online via eBenefits or call our toll-free number, which is listed, to be connected to one of our local regional office. And of course, they will reach out to us via that particular number. Some of us in the office have soft phones, some don't. So call the number and you can reach one of our local offices by the 800 number. Next slide, please. Of course, we're here to celebrate our women veterans. Today, we are celebrating our women veterans. For generations, women veterans have honorably served in the military. Next slide, please. Please allow me to introduce two of VRNE's own women veterans. They will provide their own testimony how VRNE played a part in their success. Mrs. Veteran Julian Steff, retired Navy. Veteran Natasha Gaddis is retired Army. Unfortunately, Mrs. Gaddish will not be with you today. I will give you just a little briefing as to her background with VRNE. At this time, we'll have Ms. Veteran Staff give her testimony.
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to provide my testimony. Again, my name is Juliana Stith. My experience with VRNE has been nothing but positive from the very start. I had been off of active duty for less than 2 years when I entered the program and still trying to reacclimate to civilian life. In fact, at times I felt a little lost. I don't like to use the phrase hand-holding, but really that is what the counselors did, from giving me career aptitude tests to discussing what my career goals were, and then just being there throughout the program to listen, advise, console at times. Bottom line is I felt completely supported throughout the program. I thought that once I graduated, I'd be released from the program, but the support continued, ensuring my success for employment. After I graduated, I attended career workshops through the VRNE program, where I gained even more skills such as job searching, resume writing, networking. I connected with other veterans in the program, some of whom I still run into from time to time. I received several job leads, and ultimately, VRNE assisted me in getting my current position as a military navigator with United Way, where I've been gainfully employed for 4.5 years. But I obtained my degree in counseling and guidance to ultimately work as a licensed professional counselor. I am very happy to report that just yesterday, my request for full licensure to practice as an LPC was approved. So now I have an unrestricted license in Texas. And this was all made possible from going through the VRNE program. And one last comment, I still see my VRNE counselor and Miss Barbara Brookins even today. So through my job as a military navigator, so I've gone from being counselee to colleague, and it feels really good. It's very empowering. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Julian. I apologize for mispronouncing your name, but you see I went with Julian this time. And congratulations on receiving your license. Hats off to you. Natasha, of course, can't be with us, but just a small note about Natasha. Natasha is in our program, in VRNE's program. She went through the training phase, completed her education, and she's now in the employment service phase while I am assisting her to find suitable employment. Well, Natasha got selected for the Special Employer Incentive Program, which we are hoping that she will start at least in October once she has completed all the vetting process. So that's a neat thing, and that's a great opportunity for her as well. She's not feeling well today. So we want to send her some well wishes as well. So that completes my part. Thank you for this opportunity to participate in this great event. We hope the information enlighten you about our services and our program. Please contact our local VRNE regional office for more information. Terry, that completes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, VRNE team. You guys did a wonderful job. So for our final presentation on VBA's greatest need, that will be presented by Ms. Faith Elkins, Supervisor Human Resource Specialist with the Department of Veteran Affairs.
Good afternoon. My name is Faith Elkins, and I'm a supervisory human resources specialist in the Detroit Human Resources Center. My specialists are the ones who post announcements on USA Jobs, review your applications when the announcement closes to determine if you are eligible and qualified, and send a certificate or a list of qualified applicants to the hiring manager. Today, I'd like to discuss the greatest need in the Veterans Benefits Administration workforce, Legal Administrative Specialists, or LASs. Next slide, please. Don't let the word legal in the title scare you. You do not need legal experience or education in the normal use of the word. This is a VA National Call Center position in one of 8 call centers around the country. Next slide. Next slide, please. Those call centers are located in Columbia, South Carolina, Cleveland, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Phoenix, Arizona, Salt Lake City, Utah, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and St. Louis, Missouri. Next slide, please. If you become an LAS in one of those cities, here's what you would be doing. You would be helping veterans by answering their phone calls, inquiring about how to make a claim for benefits. You will learn every type of veterans benefit there is and how a veteran makes a claim and gets it approved. If you want to help veterans, this is the best position in which to start because this is the number they call to ask for help. 1-800-827-1000. A call to that number is routed to a national call center in one of the 8 locations I mentioned previously. Next slide. Next, yep, okay. Here are the duties of a legal administrative specialist: advising and providing information on benefits and rights, explaining pertinent legal provisions, regulations, and related administrative practices and their application to specific cases, assisting individuals regarding how best to provide needed documents and evidence required, and initiating inquiries to resolve errors, delays, or other problems in obtaining benefits. Next slide. You would probably start as a GS5 Step 1. The salary for that ranges from just under $35,000 annually to just under $38,000 a year, depending on where you would be living. You, after 1 year, provided that you are meeting standards, you would be non-competitively promoted to GS7. A year after that, you would be non-competitively promoted to GS9. After that, you would have to compete for other positions if you wish to get to a higher grade. Next slide. The LAS position is a springboard into the more complex positions at VBA, which is why vacancies occur frequently. Whenever the station needs to hire a veteran service representative, the hiring managers prefer to promote or reassign a legal administrative specialist into the position because they have acquired a solid base of knowledge pertaining to veterans benefits and the claims process. Next slide. To qualify for the GS5, you must have 3 years of general experience, which is defined as the ability to analyze problems, to identify significant factors, gather pertinent data, and recognize solutions, the ability to plan and organize work, and the ability to communicate effectively both orally and in writing, or a 4-year course of study leading to a bachelor's degree can substitute for the experience required. Next slide. To qualify for the GS7, you must have 1 year of specialized experience, defined as experience in providing customer service through a call center, experience with assessing problems, complaints, and resolving them in a professional manner, or referring them to the appropriate source. experience working with computers and technical knowledge of several computer application programs, experience working with office equipment such as copiers, printers, and/or multi-line telephones, or you may substitute education for the experience required to qualify at the GS7 grade level. You must have 1 full year of graduate level education or a bachelor's degree with superior academic achievement. In other words, a GPA of 2.95 or higher. Next slide. We are looking specifically for veterans who are eligible for a Veterans Recruitment Authority appointment. To be VRA eligible, you must be a veteran with an honorable discharge or general under honorable conditions, and have veterans preference, been discharged within the past 3 years, or have a campaign medal. This is what we're looking for today, in the next few days, in the next week or so. You can have other eligibilities if you find an announcement on USA Jobs and can apply to that. Next slide. To apply for these positions, we need your resume, your DD-214, your veterans preference letter from the VA, and your college transcript if you have one. If you are just getting out of the service, you can provide us with your record of service statement, or if retiring from the service, your terminal leave orders. You can start with the federal government during, but not before, your terminal leave. Provide us with the DD-214 as soon as you get it, as it will affect how many hours of leave you get per pay period. Next slide. Let's get back to the resume and what should be on it when you apply. The difference between a civilian resume and a federal resume is substantial. A civilian resume is designed to pique someone's interest, and then you sell yourself in the interview. In federal hiring, you don't even get to an interview. Indeed, you are not referred to the hiring manager unless you show that you have the required experience or education. On a civilian resume, you list all of your greatest achievements, and it's limited to 1 or 2 pages. A federal resume needs to list the tasks that you performed to show how you acquired the experience required, and generally at least 3 pages is required to do that, especially if you want to make it readable. Next slide. Whenever you go to prepare your resume, skip the objective, as that varies with each position or it's so vague it's irrelevant. If you have a college degree, list it right at the beginning. Show the university attended, degree, major, and GPA. List each position that you held with the beginning and ending dates in month and year, as well as the wage or salary you earned or the military rank. List the tasks you performed with bullets and leave ample white space. A solid block of text is very difficult for a person to read and try to pick out relevant experience, and it's easy to miss information that would get you referred. Yes, I'm saying that people read these resumes, not machines. That's why you have to cater to people. Next slide. So let's get back to the experience required page. This is what needs to be reflected on your resume in the tasks that you performed. For the GS5, your resume must reflect 3 years of general experience, defined as the ability to analyze problems, to identify significant factors, gather pertinent data, and recognize solutions, ability to plan and organize work, and the ability to communicate effectively, both orally and in writing. So don't just say, I have the ability to communicate effectively. Instead, put what you did. For example, responded to frequent phone calls or email inquiries from service members asking questions about required paperwork. Next slide. To qualify for the GS7, your resume must show what you did to acquire at least 1 year of specialized experience, defined as experience in providing customer service through a call center, experience with assessing problems, complaints, and resolving them in a professional manner, or referring them to the appropriate source, experience working with computers and technical knowledge of several computer application programs, experience working with office equipment such as copiers, printers, and/or multi-line telephones. Next slide, please. What you should do today then, or as soon as possible, if you are interested in any of these positions as LA legal administrative specialists in any of the listed cities, is to redact or black out your social security number and date of birth from your application documents. Scan them into PDF format and email them to hrapps.vbadetroitca@va.gov. To break that down, it's Human Resources Applications, HRApps.VBA Detroit CA, Veterans Benefits Administration, Detroit Central Area, @va.gov. Make the subject of your email the position, city, and state in which you're interested. LAS, Salt Lake City, Utah. Next slide, please. The second thing you should do is set up a USA Jobs account if you don't already have one. Upload your resume or build one in USA Jobs. Upload your DD-214, your Veterans Preference Letter from VA, and your transcript, an official copy if possible. Although the announcements will say you can use an unofficial copy, an official copy is much better. If you are claiming Veterans Preference, upload an SF-15. Then do a search for Legal Administrative Specialist in the city or cities of your choice. Save that search and have USA Jobs notify you every day if one of those positions is announced in that city. The reason I say that you should get a notification every day is that some locations get so many applications that the announcements are open just 3 days. So if you get a notification just once a week, you will often not see an announcement until it's closed. Next slide, please. Here are some websites and the email repeated and the VBA National Call Center, and I must always put in the Veterans Crisis Line in case you need to talk to someone about how you're feeling. Thank you for your interest in the Veterans Benefits Administration. We look forward to seeing your applications and sending them to the appropriate offices, and I wish you the very best in your job search. Terry, that completes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elkin, for that wonderful presentation. Next slide, please. This is some information that we put as a resource for employment and training information with the Department of Labor. Next slide. And also for our question and answer portion, we understand that there may be a lot of questions that you want more information to. So what we've done is we made sure that we included all of the presenters, the topics that they presented on, and their email addresses so that you can reach out to them to get questions answered. And also, just to let you know that the information or the questions that were in the chat box, we're going to definitely go and make sure we answer those questions and get responses back to you accordingly as well. So your questions will definitely be answered.
Terry, can I step in here for 1 second here?
Go ahead, Dr. Hartman.
So hopefully what happened is that I put a URL in there. We did a real quick search on USA Jobs and found several jobs within the San Antonio area for VHA police officers, file clerks, medical support assistants, contract specialists, food service workers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I put that in there, and hopefully for the participants that are on here, this will help them, because some of the jobs that were just described most recently from Faith are in locations that aren't in the San Antonio area. So if we can make sure that everybody that's on here participating has that URL, then all they need to do is press that URL and it'll take you to, I think, almost 150 jobs in the San Antonio area that are VA jobs.
Thank you, Dr. Hartman. That was wonderful information. So now, without further ado, I will turn the floor over to, I'm sorry, next slide. Turn the floor over to Dr. Laurencia Pierce, Deputy Director of the Office of Transition and Economic Development, also known as OTED, to provide closing remarks. Thank you, Dr. Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And thank you, Hiring Our Heroes, to the VA team, all of our partners. What an amazing day. And we just appreciate you for hosting this webinar on behalf of women veterans. I'm certain we are all better informed. As a female or woman veteran myself, I was very much excited about the information that was delivered. I hope you guys feel the same way. But on behalf of the Office of Transition and Economic Development and our team, we thank you for your involvement in today's webinar. We appreciate your continued collaboration, and we look forward to growing our relationship to the benefit of the veterans there in the San Antonio community over the next few years. Again, I am honored, we are honored to work with you today, tomorrow, and in the future. Again, thank you so much. And I hope you all have an awesome day on purpose.
Hello, again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for viewing and to thank all of our awesome presenters today. As a reminder, this was recorded and can be found at www.hiringourheroes.com/careers-community. There you can also register for more sessions like this on our events page. Again, thank you and have a great evening.